Portray.
You're out there portraying me as an enemy of the people.
Calamity.
You surely have turned calamity into victory.
Neurology.
Early neurology grew from doctors examining the brains of criminals.
Nationalism.
The extreme form of nationalism is extremely bad.
Comical.
They're kind of funny and comical to watch.
Observable.
You know, there are 200 billion galaxies in the observable universe.
Conquer.
They wanted to conquer Britain with their strong armies.
Magnetic.
So turtles really are sensitive to the magnetic field.
Humorist.
As all sophomoric humorists must be, I was totally blown away by my own wit.
Ministry.
The Army, Navy, and Air Force are all controlled by the Ministry of Defense.
Seep.
Clayton's blood had seeped into the carpet.
Dignitary.
No, she is a dignitary, and she deserves a peace that comes straight from you.
Reverence.
And in particular, we have a reverence for his patents.
Projectile.
And how far away can a gun actually shoot a projectile away at?
Informal.
There is no record. This is an informal conversation.
Immutably.
My task was a very hard one, but as I was absolutely resolved, as my cousins saw at length that my mind was really and immutably fixed on making a just division of the property, as they must in their own hearts have felt the equity of the intention, and must, besides, have been innately conscious that in my place they would have done precisely what I wished to do, they yielded at length so far as to consent to put the affair to arbitration.
Escapism.
Like, for some people, Harry Potter is pure escapism.
Comparison.
You don't find anything wrong in the comparison.
Spurious.
He urged the rejection of what he called spurious nationalism.
Salacious.
Despite the salacious title, nudity is not required.
Spur.
Ah, you're a lady. The spur on my boot has got tied up with your dress.
Staunch.
Staunch friends are we, well tried and strong.
Articulate.
He felt love, but couldn't articulate it.
Devotedly.
She lifted her eyes, and they beamed devotedly into his as her lip rose in a tender half-smile.
Asceticism.
Then we strive to live according to our own asceticism.
Workaday.
In the real world of ordinary people, just living their ordinary, colorless, workaday lives.
Hone.
Honing their fighting skills for when they really need it.
Trackless.
Some took the high roads, others all the bypaths, and many the trackless hills.
Embark.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell.
Twilight.
The grass was still wet and looked almost black in the twilight.
Embitter.
But they became a source of embitterment to Isaac and Rebekah.
Rotate.
See, their eyes can rotate 360 degrees.
Apex.
Apex predators are not hunted and eaten by any animals.
Isolation.
Dr. Prentice suggested a TB test in isolation.
Tensile.
Yeah, but the tensile strength won't allow you to tie it like rope.
Venerable.
And how is the Venerable State Chairman?
Turnpike.
And there's a motel just down the turnpike.
Dupe.
If you want to get her in the sack, just tell her you love her. That's how I was duped.
Provision.
The government is responsible for the provision of medical services.
Dregs.
And the mugs were emptied to the dregs.
Stealthy.
You know me, stealthy as a shadow.
Ascender.
Blood matted the fat boy's hair, where Halder had split his helm asunder.
Grasp.
I felt him grasp my hair and my shoulder.
Supervise.
'Cause I'm the leader, I'm supervising.
Assembly.
Your first joint interview, when your husband was running for state assembly in '86.
Charm.
I'm chatty. It's part of my charm.
Congeal.
Joe, his blood hasn't congealed, and his body's still warm.
Illumination.
Their illumination suddenly switches on, and winged termites are attracted by the light.
Azure.
She had azure hair and a face white as wax.
Tweed.
Yes, I want it made of tweed.
Neoclassical.
There's still a certain amount of restraint in a neoclassical comedy.
Seamy.
But then tucked round the back is the other, seamy side of their activity.
Informality.
I'm sure, sir, I should never mistake informality for insolence.
Purse.
The purse still had $300 cash in it.
Redeem.
You can't redeem a lie with more lies.
Derail.
Scores of people were injured, 40 of them seriously, when a train derailed.
Laggard.
The predators will catch the weaker ones, the laggards. They will grab off individuals in the periphery of the group, but
Elegant.
Elizabeth wasn't beautiful, but she was elegant.
Unbidden.
Such thoughts come unbidden, Mr. Holmes.
Doughty.
Sir Martyrs is a doughty fighter. He'll make short work of that sellsword.
Establishment.
The establishment of the new China marks the opening of a new age.
Ambiguous.
Well, that's a somewhat ambiguous response. Am I going or not?
Charlatanism.
Justifiable.
My lord, members of the jury, I hereby enter a plea of justifiable homicide.
Cereal.
No, you had cereal for breakfast.
Jocularity.
Don't tell me you didn't know I was to be your brother-in-law this spring, he said with nervous jocularity.
Sterile.
All ant workers are female and sterile.
Fissure.
Simply put, the earthquake created these small fissures in the ice.
Persuade.
Then persuade him to tell the truth.
Dispel.
Let me just dispel that rumor.
Elliptical.
Its orbit is highly elliptical.
Nonetheless.
It was a barren region, but beautiful nonetheless.
Dial.
In Canada, when you call an ambulance, you dial 911.
Seductress.
Princess Yusupov is a great sort of seductress, and the story goes she and her husband were among those that were at the party in which Rasputin was killed.
Jury.
You want to see a jury find Jessica guilty.
Helix.
You'll be familiar with the double helix of DNA.
Incidence.
Who do you think has a higher incidence of suicide?
Asylum.
Did you come to America to seek asylum?
Garbage.
What's that in the garbage can?
Wildlife.
Wildlife biologist Jen is doing a count.
Sexism.
I'm only in high school and I see casual sexism on the daily.
Prophetic.
The next word is prophetic dreams, or known as psychic dreams.
Scuttle.
Don't reply, just look frightened and scuttle.
Rigid.
You are too tied to your rigid schedules. You're missing life.
Prelude.
This is a beautiful prelude by Chopin.
Coexistence.
And all we want on this small, small planet is peaceful coexistence.
Subsidize.
I will not subsidize your life unless you are going to college.
Rod.
The rod that holds up the shower curtain just broke out of the wall.
Antecede.
And, of course, questions of sense antecede questions of empirical truth.
Tacitly.
The government has tacitly allowed the market economy to grow.
Investment.
The money was lost in a bad investment.
Obvious.
It's obvious you love her.
Disaffect.
Devise.
Professor Gordon Gallup devised the mirror test.
Derision.
I don't like the condescension or that I'm an object of derision for you.
Compilation.
Disney World is releasing a video compilation of the sing-along.
Equine.
It's an equine kind of show that brings tack and saddle, bit and bridle, thundering over snow.
Insolent.
You are an insolent, ungrateful little... But Aunt Marge suddenly stopped speaking.
Assortment.
Okay, we have an assortment of spring rolls here.
Preoccupation.
Even on the ice, the mother's main preoccupation is feeding her cubs.